And welcome to the Deuce Podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeremy.
And it's been a hot minute, Jeremy.
Oh, it definitely has been a hot minute.
we haven't been doing any episodes for a while.
Yeah.
Life got in the way for a little bit, and then some other things got in the way,
yes,
which we will tell you about. I contracted COVID, and I was in the hospital for 34 days, and Jeremy got it from me. You were in how long? About 8 days?
Yeah. Well, I was sick for I was really sick for about a week.
Yeah, for about a week. Yeah.
And then it got bad enough that I went to the hospital. So I was in the hospital for 8 days.
So we haven't really done much since then.
A lot of recuperating and a lot of getting back to normal.
I'm not fully, my voice isn't fully there. So if I do kind of have a little crackle in my voice, I apologize. It's just me trying to catch my breath.
If I have a little crackle in my voice, it's because I'm so excited for today's movie.
You're so excited for today. We're doing episode 131. I just kind of want to, we don't have to talk. I mean, wear a mask, people.
Yeah, wear a mask.
That's what we're going to say. Wear a mask.
Yeah, wear a
mask.
And
social distance yourself. And be good to people. Be nice to people.
Be conscious. Be conscious of others. Yeah.
Of others. But we're doing sequels.
We are.
That's what we do around here. We're doing episode 131 of the Deuce Podcast. We're doing Steven Spielberg's follow-up to Jurassic Park called The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Yes. Interesting, though, that it is it's got the sequel title before the...
Yeah.
It's not like Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yes. Starring Jeff Goldblum from the first movie.
Yes.
Julianne Moore from Hannibal. I just like saying
that's what you're going to pick from Hannibal.
Yes, I'm picking Hannibal, okay?
From Boogie Nights. Yes. From Julianne Moore from David Duchovny's Evolution.
From Magnolia. No, I don't want to go like something prestigious like Far From Heaven. Yes. No way. And what's his face? Can't think of Vince Vaughn.
Yes, Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn from Wedding Crashers.
Yes.
Swingers.
There you go.
He was in Swingers before this movie. So this was his first kind of big role, and he gets cast in a Steven Spielberg movie. In fact, they wanted to use the theme song to Jaws in order for them to do that. Steven Spielberg had to be there for a screening to give permission.
Yeah.
And so that's how he met Vince Vaughn, cast him in this movie. So, and he's not too Vince Vaughn-y in this movie.
No, he's very much still like, he's still pretty controlled. Because it's one of those things where like when you start to earn your style, like to where you have some freedom to be like, oh, what are you talking about? What are you going to do about this? What are you doing? Your money, baby. And you just keep blathering on. Like he's not there yet where he's got that kind of freedom. He's still very, he's very controlled with this one. And it seems like, I think you're right. Like it's very, it's Vince Vaughn. You can tell it's Vince Vaughn. Like he's still got the same acting style. Can you go back
to where you said I was right?
No.
Okay.
I will edit that part out later.
That's fine.
So it doesn't get made into a ringtone.
It will.
But no, it's very. You have him talking, and it feels very Vince Vaughn, but not to like where he's.
It's not that annoying.
Earned the privilege of being like super Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, super annoying.
Yeah, annoying is... Yeah.
It can be.
I don't know if, like, very loud and, like, brash. I think it's more of the...
Sure.
Yeah.
And I guess when the role applies to do it, this role doesn't really lend itself to being loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
In those sorts. The tagline for this movie was, "Something has survived." Which is a wonderful tagline for this. That was on the posters. Again, this came out in 1997. Do we have a plot synopsis, Jeremy?
We do have a plot synopsis.
We do? Wow, we're on top of it. For being away.
I seriously was like, what is it that I always do when we start these episodes? And so then I remembered, oops, I need to go get that.
By the way, I want to say that we are doing way, way better than what we are. So we appreciate everyone in the podcast community that's reached out to us, by the way, and just wish us good wishes. Yeah. So we appreciate that. But go ahead. With our plot synopsis of what I think is one of Steven Spielberg's worst movies, Jurassic Park, The Lost World.
And I
The
watched
Lost World.
AI.
Yeah. No, I actually like AI.
I need to watch it again.
We watched that.
I hated it when I was young.
That's actually more of a decent movie than you think. I think we should rewatch that, but that's just
good then. We will.
Yeah.
Fine, we will.
And I think Jude Law is great in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The movie picks up 4 years after the disaster at Jurassic Park. On a nearby island, dinosaurs have secretly survived and been allowed to roam free. But now there's a more ominous threat from InGen, a plan to capture and bring the dinosaurs to the mainland. John Hammond, who has lost control of his InGen company, sees a chance to redeem himself for his past mistakes and sends an expedition led by Ian Malcolm to reach the island before the mercenary team gets there.
Yeah.
The two groups confront each other in the face of extreme danger and must team up for their own survival in a race against time.
We must say that Richard Attenborough's back from the first movie.
Guess who's back?
I like Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
And he's also a good director as well. So he's directed lots of good movies. And he was in the off-Broadway production of The Mousetrap.
Was he really?
Yeah, well, I did The Mousetrap in college.
I know you did.
That's how I know that.
You tell me all the time.
Yeah,
tell me daily.
Yeah.
You find ways to...
When you picked me up at the hospital, I was like, remember when I was in The Mousetrap?
You're like, oh, this reminds me of when I was in The
Reminds
Mousetrap.
me.
Did I ever tell you I was in The Mousetrap?
Yeah.
So...
How we saved theater?
So let me, before we get too far into this too, I want to say...
Too late.
Long story short.
Too late.
No, when I was in high school, my dad read, well, maybe I was in middle school, whatever, whenever Jurassic Park, the book, the novel had already been out.
Probably.
The movie came out,
right?
And Dad wanted to read it. So it was after the movie came out.
Okay.
And so we read that. Then we had bought The Lost World.
The book. Yeah.
And I wanted to read it. And I had an American Lit class.
Mm-hmm.
And my teacher was big about, she would always give you extra credit if you would write something extra, like something that went beyond just the synopsis of the book.
Sure.
Or like
do you
whatever.
remember her name? What was her name?
Lisa Shetler.
Well, you don't have to give her first name. I just thought Mrs. Whatever.
Well, it's fine. It's fine. She was an amazing teacher. She really was. So, and she still teaches. Her students love her, so they still talk about her. But, so Miss Shetler, so she would give us credit. So, like, she would challenge you to do things like I wrote I got 2 extra credit pieces for,
The Lost World, Jurassic Park?
No, I did one for that one.
Green Eggs and Ham? I don't know. I'm just throwing out books.
No, the name eludes me. But anyway,
Catcher in the Rye?
But like I would do things where like you could write a short, like a short story from another character's perspective, or you could write a synopsis of like a comparison between the movie, an essay comparing the movie to the book. And like I did that with the Scarlet Letter.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of those I compared because the movie came out around then. And then, which was, oh God, terrible.
I did that with the A-Team.
And did you?
Yeah, the book, the A-Team.
Yeah.
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 It's great.
the novelization.
The novelization of the A-Team.
I'm not getting on that plane, said B.A. Baracus. But no, one of the things was, I thought, well, this is great. We have to pick a novel by an American author. And The Lost World, I wanted to read it, so I figured kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll read it, and I'll use it for my class.
Kill 2 pterodactyls with 1 stone.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is correct, yes. Well, dinosaurs are kind of, they evolve into birds. So, kind of.
Okay.
But I was like, this is great. They're going to make a movie of this that coincides about the time when I'll be done reading. Be perfect. I'll see that, and then I'll write a report about it. And I was furious.
Yeah, well.
So to me, out of those book series, the sequel book is actually better.
Sure.
The first one sets up a lot. It's a great read. But the second one takes it like a step further and increases it, and you get to see other things. There's a dinosaur called the Carnotaurus, I think its name is, and it's basically...
I'm sorry, are you making fun of the way dinosaurs are?
No, I'm not making fun of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Carnotaurus.
Would you call it?
Carnotaurus.
Just because the dinosaur is a little slow doesn't mean that you need to... No?
Carnotaurus.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So the dinosaur is actually like a chameleon style thing. He has like the chromatophores or whatever they call them, where it can shift its color.
Shapeshifter?
No, not shapeshifter, just the color shifter. Like it camouflages.
Okay. So
like a squid or like an octopus, something like that. Or a chameleon. But they have this cool scene where they're trying to like turn on all these.
Boy George, Karma Chameleon.
It's a big Karma Chameleon.
It only changes into red, gold, or green.
Yeah, red,
no
gold,
other color.
Green. Yeah, but it's got this cool scene where they're trying to turn on the power, and something is out there and they can't see it, but it's like chameleon effect is so strong that like it
jumps out at the page for you.
They can't. Yeah, it was probably one of the tensest moments in that book, and I was like, "This is crazy." And they end up defeating it because they take flashlights and start swinging. Because they showed like even when the flashlight would go across it, like there would be a white streak where it looked like it was mimicking the light, and so they kept flashing things on and off to it, which overloaded it basically, and it kind of zonked out or ran off or whatever. But it was an amazing scene, and I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I am for it. Like, I'm all about this. And even they put out a Jurassic Park Lost World like game around the same time. Did they have the
flashlights in that one too?
There was fought the Carnotaurus in that one because I think they didn't know how the movie was going to be, so they based it off the stuff that was in the book, and then it wasn't in the movie. In fact, the movie is so far like they combine characters like Ian Malcolm has a daughter who also has a friend named RB who sneaks to the island with them. Right. And it's two characters, and instead they just combine them into one.
Gives them roast beef sandwiches.
Yes, that's him. Yeah. And so like there's so much stuff that it's funny, there's so much that they leave out of this one that they end up.
So you were kind of like saying, because you've watched the movie, or because you've read the books.
Yeah.
And you kind of say like 2 and 3, because you've seen 3, are kind of like, if you put those together, the best of the books are kind of scattered throughout the movies. Right?
Yeah, they take moments out of those and scatter them throughout.
So why don't we talk about the one that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, let's do that.
Which is Lost World Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, how did you feel? Because basically, the Jeff Goldblum character, he kind of we're meant to assume that he's dead in the first book.
Yes.
Right. But they kind of write that off in the second book, and they said, "Well, the doctor did a good job."
Yeah,
and so he's alive in the second book.
My dad and I, when we read that, I was like, "Dad, Ian Malcolm's alive in this." And
yeah,
it's like, what? Because in the first book, Ian Malcolm, one of the things they always have in the one of the things that they show in the movie, there's that attorney Gennaro who he runs away when the T-Rex comes and hides in the toilets.
Right.
That is what Ian Malcolm does originally in the books. He like runs, and that's when he gets injured because he's being cowardly. So, but Jeff Goldblum didn't want that, so that's not how it works in the movie. In the movie, he was being heroic.
So in this movie, he's the hero.
Yes.
But what I'm asking you is, how do you feel about Jeff Goldblum being kind of our hero? And then go ahead.
I'm okay with, so in the book, I was okay with Ian Malcolm being the hero, because I
could kind of see that.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a character change, but you almost get, like, in the book, and even in the movie, I think Jeff Goldblum does a pretty good job of, like...
I don't know.
Well, he's not, like...
It's like Tom Hanks playing the Dante's Inferno, like, character.
Yeah.
It just kind of doesn't quite fit.
Yes.
There's something a little off.
But I also, like, I don't see it as a traditional... like action hero.
Right.
To me, he's got PTSD. He's very like scared of what's coming with the dinosaurs. He doesn't want to go there.
Yeah.
He only steps up to go save his girlfriend.
True.
And I don't, they treat him kind of like this unconventional action hero until like the last 30 minutes of the movie, and then it just turns into a regular, popcorn action flick.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with Jeff Goldblum. We're not quite getting the Jeff Goldblum-y kind of performance that we normally get from him.
Yes.
This, of course, what Steven Spielberg does when he does sequels, like what he did with the Indiana Jones movie, it's always like darker the second time.
Yeah.
This is not really the kid-friendly version of Jurassic Park that we've come to know from the first movie, which I can see kind of like would frustrate a little bit of people that might be going for the thrill ride. Instead, it becomes less of a thrill ride and becomes more of a thriller itself.
Yeah.
In a way. Because there's more aspects where I got more tensed when there wasn't that many dinosaurs there.
Yeah.
But they were put in situations where they had to like survive.
Yes.
And I'll come up with that scene here in a moment. But I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But as far as Jeff Goldblum is concerned, it's just, you're right. He is like a different kind of hero, but it's just kind of like, I kind of wanted, it's like you always want Sam Neill to be in these movies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or you want like Laura Dern, like you want like those original characters to be there because they just have that. And he does show up in the third movie. Yeah. Which I'm just like, that just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. I think my problem though with Jeff Goldblum, and I think a problem a lot of people had with his performance is in the first movie, and I don't think that
he's more of a comic relief in it.
Well, I think that the Jeff Goldblum that we get in this movie was how I saw him a lot more in the past. Like he was very subdued and whatever, but he kind of got this cult fame from being in the first movie with the life finds a way and it's kind of making sound.
Check out my glasses.
Like he just
apartments.com.
Yeah, basically that's, you see a lot of like the stuff that people now know him for.
Right.
You see in his character.
Trying to find an apartment with apartments.com. Yeah, it's my Jeff Goldblum.
It is definitely an impression.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I had COVID for heaven's sake.
You can't use that for everything.
I'm going to use it for everything.
You can't. Don't make fun of my impression. I had COVID.
Don't make fun of my impressions of Jeff Goldblum.
Don't make fun of my judging of your impressions. I also had COVID.
You want to hear my Dolly Parton? Hi, I'm Dolly Parton.
COVID.
Don't make fun of it.
I'm the COVID kid.
But I get it.
Yeah. I think so. People had a lot of problems. Like one of the common complaints I saw about this movie too with Jeff Goldblum is that
he's Jeff Goldblum.
He's not Jeff Goldblum-y enough. He's not doing.
It really is, because there's moments when like they do a joke towards about 15 minutes into the movie when it actually becomes kind of still Spielberg-y.
Yeah,
and they do a joke and it falls flat for us because we're like, you weren't joking. Through the whole movie, and then you have this one joke, and then you don't even carry that on. Yeah, like you're funny. It's a funny joke if it would have kept going. Like if it would have started a joke beforehand. Yeah, but they're serious, and they almost just died in the scene, right? And they go, he's like, "Can I get you anything?" And they're like, "A rope." Also a cheeseburger.
Yeah, make mine with fries. Make mine with this.
Can I get a chocolate?
No pickles on mine.
Apartments.com. So anyway, I wanted to talk about Julianne Moore in this movie because I love Julianne Moore. But in this movie, she did this movie to pay off a divorce settlement.
Did she really?
That's what she said. Yeah. And part of me loves that, and part of me doesn't love that. Because she's kind of phoning it in this movie.
She is very phoning it in this movie.
You can kind of tell. And she also wanted to work with Steven Spielberg.
Well, yeah.
But she's
take it where you can get it.
She's kind of just doing. She's doing a paycheck so she can, do another independent movie where she can get nominated for an Academy Award. Yes, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like one of those things where I'm just like, oh, Julianne Moore. There's more to you than this.
There's more to you.
And then at the beginning of this, I even pointed it out. She looks kind of strung out, and I don't know if that was just the character or her just being up for hours, just going, God, I'm dreading this movie.
Well, she probably was stressed in her real life.
Right, she probably was.
Being, and also
being divorced
probably
by
a makeup choice or
whoever her husband was.
But and
she was trying to find an apartment.
It's not her best performance. And actually, what?
She probably was trying to find an apartment. Jeff Goldblum helped her
with apartments.
Yes, apartments.com.
By the way, our episode is brought to you by apartments.com. Every time we
We're
mention
back,
them,
people.
we get a new apartment.
We are back. And
We are sorry. No, she definitely... It's weird because, like, this is a role where I think the character can be very... it could be a very interesting character because she's this, animal behaviorist.
Yeah.
And, like, she's very excited about it. Yes,
yeah, just like the whole movie there was.
But I think that part of the problem is it was just very phoned in. And actually, I mentioned the movie Evolution earlier.
Yeah.
Talk about a movie where Julianne Moore, it's not her normal thing.
She's got comedy.
But she did this comedic, nerdy thing, and she was very into the character. And I feel like, and it gets mentioned in the book, Kelly, Ian's daughter.
Right. You might know her from...
Ian Malcolm's daughter.
Yeah, you might know her as young student number 2 from The West Wing.
Yes, that's
from
her.
An episode of The West Wing.
Yes, that's
Which
true.
one, I don't know.
Yeah. So
but there's a West Wing connection there, but go ahead.
There you go. No, she in the books, she loves Julianne Moore's character because she sees her as this strong, like,
I can probably see
female with whatever.
Obviously, I haven't read the book, but I can see her looking up to her.
Yes, and they talk about that where she's kind of like this, like almost like a Wonder Woman type person too. Like this very archetypal woman, strong female.
But I don't quite get that
role
from
model
her in this.
No, I don't either. The thing that gets me is like
there's potential.
I think like she missed out on this great opportunity to place this strong female character. It's still, I mean, she's still a strong female person, but not like she was in the books. But also she missed out on like
and females are strong as hell.
You missed out on like you could have been that. Hey, I'm kind of a geek chic kind of. I know that wasn't like the big thing in the day, but like,
but
hey, I'm
sorry, Sigourney Weaver. I don't care. Like, you could have been.
I'm a woman in science.
Yeah.
And I'm super strong as
right.
I'm tough and resilient. Like, I think she's missing out on that. I think it would have been a great.
I just don't think there's a lot of people that didn't care. They were just like, let's move this along.
Let's do this.
I really think Steven Spielberg was like, just move it along.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it was just for like a paycheck for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think this suffers from a bad script. I don't necessarily think. I think there's some good directed scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Including the terrible sequence at the end. There's some fine, okay, Spielbergian moments that are a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But I think that for the most part, it is. Can we talk about who I think is underrated in this movie? Who is like Richard Schiff?
Yes, Richard Schiff's character.
It kind of gets a little like not the greatest send off.
No, and I think that happens. I think that something similar happens to him in the book, though, too.
Yeah, but I'm like, and that's fine. But he's the first person that dies, right?
Yes.
If anything, these poach hunters, which basically this is just a like, hey, hunting's bad kind of movie. Like, some of these people could have died before him. I think that would have been less of a blow for me.
Yeah.
Especially because he died trying to save their lives.
Yes. And
I just was all like, this is actually a decent scene with Richard Schiff.
Yeah.
Again, the West Wing connection. With the, young student number 2. Anyway, which that was your best role since Jurassic Park, Lost World. Anyway, I just think that, like, you see him going through the mud and him trying, like, his hardest to. And I'm like, he's the one trying the hardest out of, like, everyone in this movie.
Yeah, they climb about 10 feet up the rope and they keep sliding back down.
Yeah.
And that
it was probably it was weighed down by Vince Vaughn's ego.
Yes,
that he would soon have.
Yeah,
probably.
The that scene was like in the book was more tense. And
I think it's tense in the movie.
It is, but so actually in the other one, I think that the bus thing rips apart at the accordion part. Okay. And there's a part where where like Ian grabs
Judy Tenuta plays it.
Yes, that's where Ian. So there is a tense part where Julianne Moore, she lands on the glass of the back window.
I love that scene. It's cracking very slowly.
Yeah, every time like where her fingers touch,
it's
like,
one of my favorite parts of the movie.
That scene is well done, and you can tell that they sculpted a lot around that, where they were like, we really want this to be in here.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, now like when the glass finally breaks out on her this time, she starts falling. Ian grabs a hold of her backpack. That's how he catches her. They both have
so that's the same.
No, in the book, he grabs the only thing he can, which is her hair.
I'm just going to guess her hair, right?
He's pulling her by her hair. Yeah. And so, like, it's that much more tense because she's in pain, but she's trying to, like, grab his arm and pull herself up.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's that extra, like, oh my God kind of moment. So,
was she a redhead in the book, too?
I think so. I can't remember, honestly, but I thought she was. Like, I think
so she has no soul.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
yes.
Whatever.
Correct.
She's pretty soulless in this movie. I'm sorry, Julianne
Mommy
Moore.
says each one of my freckles is like a kiss from an angel.
There's wonderful Julianne Moore performances. This is not one of them.
No.
So, how do we feel about the main poacher? I can never think of his name, so I just call him Pete. Blah blah blah.
It's Postlethwaite.
Yes, rest in peace. He's a wonderful actor. He's very underrated in a very underrated Ben Affleck directed movie called The Town, which he's amazing in that movie. You might know him from Usual Suspects as well. Had one of those faces that you just know, and always kind of plays that kind of mean looking thing. I check out The Town. I think that's a wonderful underrated movie. But there's a scene where like he just leaves.
Yeah, it's okay. So there's like
before they go off to like San Diego.
Yeah, there's this very clear division in the movie. Because let's talk about we'll come back to it. But there's a division in the movie where like they transition from being on the island to being in a city, and at the end of this, he's brought down a T-Rex with tranquilizers, and they're like, aren't you going to come with us? And he's like, no, I've seen enough death. And just like wanders off.
And then we never heard from him again.
Yeah, it's such a weird
It's just such a weird moment. There's certain things I don't like and like about this movie, for instance, with the special effects. Like I like the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I really do. I think the dinosaurs are fine. Some of them are a little off, but that comes with just being from 1997. But for the most part, I'm okay with them. I don't like the set sometimes.
Yeah.
The set looks like a studio set.
Yeah, it looks like a soundstage.
It looks like a soundstage. And, like, I know that, like, it probably is. But for some reason, a lot of times, like, especially when I first watched this, I'm like, I'm not noticing that. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I just notice that, like, everything just looks so plastic and so artificial.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't feel real to me. And there was some scenes where they did the outside scenes where they did shoot in California.
Yeah.
Even though they're supposed to be in Costa Rica, and there's no redwoods in Costa Rica, but whatever. But I don't know. How did you feel about that?
About how the visual of it?
Yeah, the visual of it.
When they were
the T-Rexes that knocked the bus down. Thought those were pretty cool.
Yeah, those were pretty cool. So the overall, like, I liked seeing some of the other dinosaurs that were mentioned in the books that they didn't add into the movies. Like, I think part of the whole thing in the first movie was get some of the biggies in there as far as
we always have to have velociraptors.
Yeah.
T-Rexes.
So I have a big problem with the velociraptors.
Me too.
And it kind of is also a little bit of a problem in the book, not as big as it is in the movie, but so in the first movie and the first book, the velociraptors and the intelligence of them is so focused on, like, like where the velociraptor tries the door and they like set traps and they, whatever.
Right.
Like you get the sense that they talk about how intelligent they are. And so, that's something that makes that very suspenseful, because the T-Rex is just a big rampaging monster, but the raptors are cunning and fast and smaller. Like it's like a trade-off with things. And it makes them that much creepier. In this one, we don't really talk about that at all. And the book does still talk about it, but the second book almost makes them, we don't focus as much on their intelligence as we do their savagery.
Sure. And
how they're quick and whatever. But we still talk about it. They're not dumb, but we just don't talk about it as much. In this one, they are just dumber than a sack of hammers. And that bothers me a lot because like it's like a complete change. You have where they start fighting with each other at one point. Like they trick them into wrestling around and it's like, what? They wouldn't. Yeah, no, they're smart. And, I mean, it's what, that's part of what makes them suspenseful. So once they're not, I'm just kind of like, whatever.
There's a visually appealing scene. I think the stampede scene is very visually appealing.
Yes, it was.
I think it's well done. Well, go ahead.
That was a big toy grab.
Yes,
because all of those vehicles that they drove in there were toys.
Like you're focusing on that because of that.
Yes,
and I think you're losing less of like everything else.
Yeah,
because of that.
This was just to me, it was just a big mark. Like the studio wanted another chance to sell toys, and that's what they got.
There's one big scene that I want to talk to you, but before we get to that big scene, there is one scene that also everyone talks about, and that's the gymnastics scene.
Oh my god.
With Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Because she was in gymnastics, but she left the team, right? Or she got kicked out of the team or whatever.
Yeah, she got kicked off.
And then Jeff Goldblum's character is being, chased by a velociraptor, and she does a little, gymnastic scene.
Yeah, in uneven bars,
Like Kevin
she's
Bacon
doing the uneven bars, and she...
Yeah.
Spins around. She's like, "Hey, Velociraptor!"
Hey, Velociraptor, and then
she kicks it out the window.
Everyone
and it dies.
hates that scene.
Well, it's stupid. That's why everybody hates it.
So stupid.
Now, I think if I remember right, she still has something similar to that, but it's more of like she swung down and just kicked, not like I'm going to do I'm going to do like a 14-minute uneven bars routine before she finally kicks it out the window.
Right, and then lands perfectly, and it's like
yes, and then she does a dismount.
Yeah. 4.0.
The East German judge gives her a bad score before being eaten.
Oh, yes, probably. That's true. When did these books come out?
In the 90s.
90s, okay.
Did Jurassic Park come out in like 89? It might have come out late 80s, early 90s.
Because I was wondering, because when you said East Germany, I was like, well, maybe
no. East Germany was gone.
Okay.
I think by the time this book came out, I think it was gone.
We already had Wings of Desire.
Or we're getting close, so.
And then obviously when they bring the T-Rex they're going to bring him to San Diego.
So this is not the thing in the books.
So. Originally, Steven Spielberg was like, we'll just not have it and we'll keep it and put it in the third movie. And then he's like, there's no way I'm going to do the third movie.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it here in this.
That irritates me. It would have made sense.
So when I was telling you, I go, I think this is more of the script's fault. No, it's Steven Spielberg. It's got Spielberg written all over it.
Yeah,
and it's him being Spielberg self. Excuse me, I can't really talk. Spielbergian, whatever. I don't know Yiddish. Come on. So anyway, they take him and then he gets loose, but there's this scene where the boat comes and everyone's killed on the boat. And you pointed it out. Yeah. There's this small little capsule where the captain of the boat's at.
It's the bridge of the
that's hard to get into, right?
Yeah, it's like a room you walk into with doors and everything else.
Either we've seen the boat or below deck.
Yeah.
From Bravo. And we've seen that little area, right? Yeah. It's hard to get into. So then how did he kill those people inside?
Yeah. There's like the captain's hand is still on the still on the wheel.
There's no way he could. So there's someone the captain's hand's still on the wheel of the boat. How was this boat like? I don't understand anything about and
but they also said the crew was all over in there. So he wasn't the only dead one in there.
How did he get in there?
Makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense.
But he's in the cargo hold too.
Yes,
so
he is.
Well, I don't understand.
Which somebody finally lured him in there and then died, apparently.
Okay, so that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Which we don't talk about. We just see.
We just assume that everything's fine. By the way, around this time, we've lost Kelly We don't know where she's at.
Yeah, Kelly goes. She's just gone.
She's gone.
Vince Vaughn's
gone. So we don't know. Hey, just Vince Vaughn, will you watch my daughter while we go to San Diego?
Yeah. No, everybody
just go
leaves.
to SeaWorld while we're, is that where SeaWorld's at in San Diego?
Yes.
Yeah,
because he made the joke about San Diego's already. They wanted to put in the Jurassic Park San Diego. San Diego's already known for its animal exhibits. You have the San Diego Zoo, SeaWorld, and the San Diego Chargers.
It's Arliss Howard, right?
Yes.
The character actor Arliss Howard that I like in Rubicon and some other movies.
Yeah.
But he is awful in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's doing an accent that he's not very well.
Yeah. If it would have only been worse if he'd have gone pip pip cheerio.
Why does he have to have an accent?
I don't know. Well, because he's related to he's Hammond's nephew.
Oh, he's Hammond's nephew. But that could, whatever.
Yeah.
He could have like American parents. We don't fucking know.
Well, yeah, it's not like the kids are British.
Right. Just like, geez, whatever. So he is in a rampage of San Diego, going crazy, going to Blockbuster or whatever video stores
so terrible.
he goes to. There's a picture of King Lear.
Yeah.
The poster of King Lear starring Arnold
Schwarzenegger. King Lear.
Which is not a great joke, because I'm just like, what? So it's actually in reference to The Last Action Hero, which came out at the same time that Jurassic Park, the first one, came out. So they're just making reference in this movie? Like, why do that?
I don't know.
Like, that movie came out, 93, 94?
It's something.
So it's like a 3-year-old joke.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a Robin Williams movie, too.
Yeah, but that was Patch Adams.
Oh, God, that movie's terrible.
Yeah. Or no, it was, no, it wasn't. It was, Jack.
Jack?
Yeah. Again, also.
Awful movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if you like those movies. I keep going awful movie. But, no, those are terrible movies.
Oh, yes. Ooh.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, Robin Williams. Rest in peace. What? He's also one of those people he's done so much that it's so hard to believe that he's dead.
Yeah.
Ron Williams. So.
Well, I mean, he's just like anybody. You got your ups and downs.
For
every world according to Garp.
They go to the gas station in that thing, that 76, gas station thing. The ball rolls.
Yeah.
Because the T-Rex hit it off or something.
Well, because they were.
It's terrible.
They're trying to find. So the plan is they figure out that the Arliss Howard, they took the baby T-Rex and have it for set aside for study or whatever. Yeah. And so they have it off site, which means that the T-Rex is trying to find it. So they have the plan, just like on the island when it tracked the baby. So they go and they get the baby and put it in the back of their car, in their caddy or whatever it is, dinosaurs and Cadillacs, Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
That's my favorite country and western bar.
Was that a comic?
What?
Cartoon? Cadillacs and Dinosaurs?
Cowboys and Dinosaurs, right?
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Cowboys and, that's the Cowboys and Aliens. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Cowboys and Aliens.
Sorry.
Which is also a comic.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah. And, yes.
Yes.
What's her name? British or Irish lady.
The Irish lady.
Oh, God.
Maureen O'Hara?
Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Irish lady? She's in what? Cowboys
God, what
and
the hell's
Aliens?
her name? I'll think of it. Anyway, but it's an aside that does not need to go on in this podcast.
Apartments.com.
Apartments.com. So
glasses.
So they get the baby and they start to run, and then they're like, okay, now we just gotta hope it gets to us, or we gotta see how we gotta get its attention. And all of a sudden, Julianne Moore looks up and she goes, "Oh, it knows." And you hear a bunch of wrecking stuff, and then the 76 gas station, like the ball, rolls by them, and they both go, "Ooh," and just slowly look at it.
Ooh.
And then they drive off with the T-Rex chasing it.
This movie clocks in around 2 hours and 9 minutes, which is about 20 minutes more than what it should be.
The whole San Diego thing should never have been there.
No, it shouldn't be. But for some reason it is.
Yeah.
And it goes on way too long.
Yep.
And it really knocks this movie down.
And there's a part where, so it's rampaging downtown, but then somehow it ends up in the suburbs. And nobody feels it. Like, nobody wakes up, no car alarms go off or anything like that. It's just walking in the suburbs because it wants to get something to drink. Mm-hmm. So it goes to somebody's pool, and of course it knocks down their wall and like stomps around, and everything you hear it shaking. And finally, one solitary kid wakes up and sees it out his window.
It's always a kid.
Yeah. And sees it out his window, and he backs up and goes out to his parents' room and wakes them up.
Yeah.
And you had already seen like earlier, like their dog is barking at it, and when the T-Rex looks at it, it backs into its little dog house. Mm-hmm. So the kid finally gets his parents, and they're all stunned when they finally see it. But of course they're arguing about why they don't believe him the whole way there. But then when they see it, they are paralyzed with fear. Then the kid takes a picture and it freaks out, and you realize the dog house is hanging out of its teeth because it ate the dog, which at the time people were really pissed about that, because that was one of the cardinal things. Like, you don't kill kids, and you don't kill.
Which he did in both of these.
You don't kill kids.
This movie starts with a kid dying.
No, she doesn't die.
She doesn't?
No, it looks like she does.
It looks like she did,
but
that's pretty fucking dark to start with.
But Hammond says at the beginning, "Oh, she's fine, but she was injured."
Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. It's pretty dark.
Yeah,
to start with.
And so,
like putting that in my mind. You're right. He does say that though.
Yeah, but he probably had to.
Yeah,
because that was probably a line.
They were probably like, "No,
studios were
like,
no, you
kid.
don't."
Yeah.
But they like reuse that.
They're like, this isn't Manchester by the Sea.
They reuse that whole thing for the third movie, where the rich people are on the island, or somebody's on the island, and then kid gets attacked.
But then they finally bring the baby T-Rex to the pier
cargo ship.
Yeah, the cargo ship.
Yeah,
they trick the T-Rex into it, and they trank him.
Yes,
and close everything.
And the baby eats Arliss Howard. Yeah.
Then they're at home, and
then they set him loose on. They must get it freed from the dock, because this thing has crashed into the dock. So they somehow get the boat freed.
Don't ask.
And must take them back home.
Not that toy. I don't know what I was gonna say. Screw that joke.
Yeah,
the joke wasn't good anyway.
It wasn't good enough.
Nope, wasn't good enough.
Your brain edited it out. edited it out.
They knew right away.
Yeah,
but you've been juiced on that movie. But we do have our 5 questions.
We do have 5 questions.
Let's do our 5 questions. I love our 5 questions.
I have to remember what they are. Okay. What do you think is the best part of this movie?
Well, I'll tell you what's not so great about this movie. Goldblum's okay, but I'd rather watch 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. Let's be honest. And you would too.
Yeah.
He kind of phones. People are phoning it in this movie.
Yes, they are.
Including John Williams, by the way. I did not like this soundtrack at all.
No.
The iconicness of the soundtrack of the first movie.
Yeah,
which gets played at every high school band since the incarnation of the first movie. You hear it all the time. This movie just is not up to the power that can be the first movie, or what the first movie brought. But there are scenes in this movie, including when Julianne Moore hits the glass and starts cracking.
Yeah,
there is a tenseness to this movie that adds to a thrill ride. But by the time we hit San Diego, I've lost interest in everything, because I'm just like, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But there are some tense moments into it, and all those tense moments with that bus and the 2 T-Rexes trying to get the baby back, I think are probably the best part of this movie.
Yes.
And so that's what I would say the best part of this movie is.
Yeah. Okay. And honestly, my part, the thing I like best about it is the dinosaurs.
No. I agree.
This movie, though, out of any of them, has the least amount of dinosaur interaction in it.
It's crazy, though, but
it's very little.
I feel like it goes so slow, though.
Yes, it does.
And I feel like Jurassic Park, at least, is whimsical at the beginning.
We have tons of T-Rex time, and we have tons of Velociraptor time, but we don't really see anything else. Like, we have the one little Stegosaurus
at the
fight.
Beginning.
But, think about, before we focused a lot on the Brontosaurus, and we saw a lot of that. It got up close to the Brontosaurus. We saw, they were in that stampede of the Gallimimus. There was all sorts of stuff. In this one, we see those things in, the one scene where they're all running. And then like we see kind of like, hey, I set them loose on your camp, but really that's it as far as most other ones. We see 3 things in tons of them. We see a ton of T-Rex. We see a bunch of Velociraptors, and only though for like a few minutes. The Velociraptors are in a very encapsulated part of the movie.
They're really not.
They don't like follow them around the island. They don't whatever. They're just like in their central area.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Promptonagmigs or whatever they're called, the compies, the little like chicken dinosaur things. And those, I think the whole thing is because those were supposed to be, they played a prominent role in the first book, but they got left out of the movie because they were kind of like, they were there, but they weren't really doing anything. But those are what kill Ian Hammond, or not book? Ian Hammond, but John Hammond in the first book.
Yeah.
And they have the thing that...
No relation to John Hamm.
No.
Okay.
The thing that I don't like with this one, they leave out cool details. Like in the first one, when they start biting John Hammond, he starts, or in the first book, he starts getting really woozy after they're biting him. Well, their saliva has almost like a paralytic thing, so when they all start biting him in mass, he's almost like he's getting slower and slower,
right,
which is when they get him.
Yeah.
And in this one, like, they kill Peter Stormare and swarm him, but, like, he's not, like, when they all bite him and they stand back, that would have been the perfect time for him to start getting dizzy or something, but they don't do that. They're just like, we're just going to attack you again.
Yeah, but this, look, they could have, they set something up in the first movie when Newman takes the shaving cream thing and steals a bunch of this stuff, but instead they just made another island. Do you know what I mean? They just are like, hey, island B over here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever. But is that the book? They have like another
island, it's a different island.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just being faithful to the book.
Yeah, Isla Sorna.
Yeah.
There's 5 islands.
Yeah. I think there's more dinosaurs in the movie Palm Springs than there is in this movie. But go ahead and watch Palm Springs. It's a good movie on Hulu. Yeah. Go ahead. Second movie? Or second question?
Would you reboot, continue, or cancel?
Based on this movie alone, I would want to kind of see a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because there is that mythology that they are building through this. And this movie could have been better. Yeah. And they know it could have been better.
Yes. But
they just kind of, I feel, were like, let's get it going.
Well,
so we can get the popcorn seats going.
Yeah. Well, and they kind of do.
And so I kind of do. I kind of, knowing that there is.
Yes. But in the
based on it,
the third movie, when they put that together, because a lot of it is just kind of. So I'll tell you what
why not make a show out of it? I don't,
Right. Well, the third one is basically people complained that here's all the stuff that was missing from the first movie. Like the first movie, the first book had pterodactyl stuff in it. Like they go through an aviary where it's the pterodactyls. Very cool scene in the book. Left it out of the movie because it would have been too much to do. But they add that in the third one.
Right.
And so there's all these things that they leave out of the first and second books, that they leave out of the first and second movies. They take those things and they kind of cobble those things that people were like, I wanted this, or I wanted more of these things. They put those together a lot into the third movie. That's why the raptors are smart again. Hey, they're setting traps, and we have pterodactyls, and we have these other things. Like, they do a better job of being like, okay, we missed the mark on some things. Let's
Crichton died, didn't he? Did he pass away?
I think Crichton died.
I think he did. Yeah, because I remember his name being taken off of ER because he created ER.
Yeah,
because he was a med student as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. But also, it's like we have Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Which I told you I saw twice on mute in the hospital.
Yeah. Which
was terrible, I guess.
I enjoy them.
I have to watch it without the.
Yes.
Yeah. What's our third question?
Well, I would personally.
No, I don't care about
what. You don't care what I want?
No.
Okay, it's fair. No, I would like to continue it, but I would almost continue it in a different way. Like, I would almost, just based off this movie, I wouldn't have beat back the dinosaurs necessarily, what I probably would have done is I probably would have continued it, but I would have explained that, like, that captain where his hand was bitten off and he was still in there, like, it doesn't make sense why the T-Rex could get into that little ship room, that maybe raptors or other dinosaurs stowed away on the ship, and then have where now they're kind of infecting the mainland. Like, now they're you know, they're reproducing on the mainland, and now, like, you know, the continent is like dinosaur, you know, being taken over by dinosaurs. I would have something more akin to that, and have like an actually make that Jurassic World.
Is this a movie or like or a TV show or what?
I was just thinking a movie, but like a TV show would be fine too.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be cool to do that.
Yeah.
But
our third question is brought to you by Apartments.com.
Apartments.com. Does this movie stand on its own?
No.
Yeah.
Because you need... Well, I mean, they have a mural that says Jurassic Park on it.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Like, it didn't make sense. You need to know what happened in the first movie to understand Dr. Malcolm's dilemma, to understand
and his,
like certain things about it.
Yep.
It just does not hold on its own. I don't think it does.
No, I would agree with that. It's really... Because they even introduce characters, like, they basically, you have to know what happened in the first one to know why John Hammond's kind of down and out, and why InGen is taking over with stuff.
Sure.
So.
Makes sense.
Does this make you want to watch the first one?
There's a nostalgia aspect that always makes me want to watch the first one.
Yeah.
I like the first one. I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm kind of like one of those people that first watched it and did not get why people were excited, but I never watched it in the theater.
Mm.
Then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, I get it. It's stylized in a way that it reminds me of the old school Spielberg. It reminds me of Jaws.
Yes.
And how like less is more until you get to the big crescendo and you get the T-Rex and the Jurassic Park sign falls down.
Yes.
Which is so iconic. Then you feel it. Like that movie you feel in your bones.
Yes, you do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's so great about that movie.
Yeah.
Is that it just feels like you're there a lot in the movie. There's a distance in this movie that makes me not want to watch the first one.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if this was the first one I watched, I would think that, well, the first one's probably not that great either. There's probably that distance I have with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that first one is just so spot on. There's everything goes right in that movie.
Yes.
You know, everything down to the T in that movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say that, so the first movie, I think watching the second movie doesn't make me want to watch the first one because it still leaves my memory of it a little bit. Because I definitely will. But it makes me go, ugh, because I know the second one is coming. So like, it kind of ruins the first one for me a little bit. I can tell you what it does though. It makes me want to read the books. Yeah,
it did me too, especially when you were talking about it.
Yes,
but like just in general,
highly recommend reading the books.
Mm-hmm.
So, fourth question: would you watch
fourth
or fifth one?
We're in the fifth one.
We're on the fifth one.
Oh, great!
Some of your experience in 2 words.
Dino bites, meaning this one kind of bites a little bit.
Yeah.
I think those are my 2 words. Plus, I kind of miss those Flintstone vitamins that you used to get when you were younger.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken all these pills.
Not like those. Not like that oatmeal where you would pour the stuff on it and little dinosaurs would come out of the
I never had that, but I had those like the sponges, like where the capsules.
Yes,
I had those, but
I had the. You remember I bought so for the listeners. When I was a kid, I used to get these things. My grandma would get them. We had to get those things where they were like pills that you'd put it in the water and they'd turn into the sponge. Yeah. But we had like other ones where you would put them in water and they would grow.
I tried Benadryl once.
Did you?
Yeah.
They would
allergies popped out.
Did they?
Yeah.
Just ragweed everywhere.
Someone on meth just popped out.
What? No, but they had these, you'd get them, they'd be like little plastic dinosaurs, but you'd put them in water and they would expand. And so they'd be big and they'd be squishy. And then when they would dry out, they would shrink again.
Things that would shrink.
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
But I bought some and I tried doing them at home And I was
when
like,
was
oh,
this?
Brad, remember these?
No, I don't remember him.
It
I
was,
probably said I don't remember
we did
him.
that at our townhouse back in the day.
But I probably said I didn't remember him.
Yeah.
Because I think you got him at, like when you watch the Great Space Coaster, which doesn't exist.
It does exist.
Okay, whatever.
Take you in your polka dot door and you shove
Oh,
them.
you take your Great Space Coaster and shove it. All right, we love each other. We love you guys. And so,
well, can I say what my 2 words are?
No, again,
You don't
I
even
really
want
care.
me to answer any
No,
of
I don't
these
want you to
things.
answer anything. No,
Welcome back to Bradley and Jeremy's Deuce Podcast.
no, I just don't want you to. No, it's my show now. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead. What's your two words?
Extinction event.
Oh,
I think that this is
because I took Dido bites away from you.
No, maybe. Yeah. No, it wasn't. I think my whole thing is like this movie just like it kills my passion for like
does.
the like I so loved the first movie and like I loved the books and all this stuff and like this came out and I was just like.
And you were super excited to watch it.
Was like
I saw this in the theater.
I don't know what to think
about
about the world. Like I was just so like disoriented from this. Like it just seems like everything the wrong kind of stuff. Like you always hear these stories about Hollywood things where they're like, well, sure. Like I remember Hellboy when Hellboy was going to come out originally, and the studio heads asked Mike Mignola. They said, well, can he like shapeshift back into like a handsome guy during the day and he transforms into Hellboy later? Let's give him a Hellmobile. It'll be a cool car that he drives so we can sell toys from. And like,
he was like, no, I'm getting the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
But no, it was seriously, it was like these things where they tried to like, they want to put their studio input about stuff when they don't really get it. And that's what I feel like freaking happened here was that it was like, everybody wanted to put in their moment to be like, I want to make a cheesy trope, or I want to put in like more toy, sale gimmicks.
Yeah, but like,
and
this is the one of the darkest Jurassic Parks, right?
Yeah.
Why are you selling toys for this? Yeah. Whatever.
I mean, wouldn't it be better in the next one when there's like a kid who's like, I've learned how to live with the dinosaurs. And
I don't
like,
know. I've never seen it.
You haven't seen the third one?
No.
Yeah, it's not great either.
Well, whatever.
It's not great.
Well, I would watch it.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Let's watch it.
Right now.
Right now.
You all have to listen to us watch it.
While we stop.
We just listen to us watch it.
Is that a new podcast?
It's a new podcast.
Welcome to a new podcast, The Trace, where we're going
You describe the video that you're watching, and then people have to guess it. I wonder what that is. Village videos. Okay. Go ahead.
So
your 2 words were like prehistoric aged? What were
not
they?
even close. Extinction event.
Well, I don't listen to you. You know that.
That's true.
You know I don't. What'd you say? I don't know.
About 4:30. So I think that like before we go or anything like that.
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah, we do.
I
think we should say
about this movie for at least 2 more seconds.
I think we should say some thank yous to people too.
We should say some.
We've been gone for a while.
We have, and we hope you enjoyed this episode because we didn't. We did.
No, we actually watched a movie and we're going to record.
And then we watched the wrong movie.
Well, yeah, it was not the greatest thing to come back on, but we had stopped for a little bit because with everything going on
Jurassic
in the world
or Jurassic Park.
Yeah, with everything going on in the world, like, we took a little bit of a break, and when we were ready to come back, shortly after that, we got sick.
We decided to do dinosaurs because we didn't want you to think we're extinct.
There you go.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I said. It's a joke, I guess.
But I think that, like, we should definitely say some thank yous because...
Yes, we should. I mean, I've got some thank yous.
We had a lot of people. Like, we have, personal friends, of course, who looked out for stuff. But, for those of you who podcast or, follow a lot of podcasts, a lot of times this community is a bit of a family. And so, like, I want to just make sure that we say some special thank yous to, as an example, the No Phony Podcast Network.
Very much so. We love those guys.
And a lot of things, they've been very supportive of us. They were watching. I actually, it was shortly after I got out of the hospital. One day I got a message on my personal Facebook Messenger and like through Facebook and through a couple other sources. And like all the emails and all these things popped up all at once, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I looked, and J. Ray, formerly of Politics with Dummies, he was trying to get a hold of us. Like, he was worried. The whole group was worried about us, and he wanted to make sure we were okay. He, they were all looking out for us, and they wanted to make sure we were going to get back on track. And I know that sometimes, that would be where you might step away from your podcast, not come back to it, but like, they were very encouraged about making sure that we were, gonna be there. So, and in the meantime, he started a new podcast, an absolute nobody. So like, a lot of things changed while we were gone.
That's wonderful. So things have changed.
But like, we had people.
Yeah.
We had like
specifically like I know Herman James reached out.
Herman James,
which, he's wonderful.
Talking Codswallop.
Yes.
Gemma from Talking Codswallop reached out. We had
the Brooks
yes.
podcast. They were very supportive of me when I was going through a lot.
Yeah. The folks over at Release the Clowns, they all reached out. And really, like, we had people...
That damn Alex reached out. Damn you.
We had a ton of people just through the actual like network itself, reaching out, keeping tabs on us, making sure we're okay.
Yeah.
I think Sean over at the What Does It Matter podcast.
Sure. He's not on our network, but
he's not on our network.
Sean is a big supporter of me, and wanted to make sure. I was actually on his show, and it hadn't been released yet, and then once I was in the hospital and didn't know he released it. So that's a fun episode to go back to and listen to. So listen to his show, because he's fun, and he's a big supporter of wearing masks. So wear a damn fucking mask.
Court over at Cinema Psyops was huge. He was getting hold of us.
Gary
Hill.
A lot
of people, Gary Hill. A lot of people over at their network. They reached out and made sure we were okay, just because we have so many like connections between them. They checked on us. So I just, in general, thank you to our fans. Thank you to our friends. Thank you to, other podcasters who reached out and made sure that we were okay when we were suddenly MIA.
Miller Lite Buddha. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Miller Lite Buddha. Yeah. and LSD. But a lot of people were very supportive. And so thank you to everybody who
it's not a hoax, people. Don't think it's a hoax.
Yeah, please. This is our plea for you to take care of yourselves, protect yourselves, but also, we're one community, whether it's, we're a podcast community, but our country and our world, we're communities in and of themselves, and so
we don't get too political on this podcast.
Yeah, but, and it's not what it is, but we're one community, and you need to you do these kind of things, and you wear your mask, you do things to protect not just yourself but others, and you do it because it's under the auspice, if you do it to protect others, and they should do it to protect you, right? And so it's going to be up to all of us to work together, and so we can tell you firsthand, you can protect yourself and do all the right things, but unless everybody is participating, you can get hit. So please take care of yourself and others.
Yes, do that. And folks, remember, we're going to be doing some more dinosaur movies.
Yes, more dinosaur movies.
Next week, or a couple weeks from today.
Now with 50% less preachiness.
We're going to be doing The Land Before Time, too. I don't know if there's a colon behind that, but we'll figure that out.
Colon.
Time
for land.
Time to get more Landy. Martin Landy. But
you remember, Martin Landy?
Remember, and come back for more terrible jokes. But remember, folks, the sequel is king.